All right, it's time to go to war. I get one gun, two choices. Glock 19X, Sig M17. What you rolling with? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Daryl from Smart Shooters, and today we're gonna have one of our most controversial videos ever. We're gonna talk about the Sig Sauer M17 versus the Glock 19X. Huh? How you coming? How you coming? Which one? Which one you picking? It's time to go to war. Which one you picking? Let's talk about it. I'm in the garage, in the office, and I just figured we have a conversation, right? We talk about, me and my guys always argue Glock 19X over Sig M17. And the reason that we argue is because I'm a Glock guy. That should be no secret to anybody. I like the 19X so much, it just lacks some Gen 5 features. So I carry a Glock 45. However, this came to my shop on the trade-in, and the results are, the performance of the Sig M17 has been shocking, to say the least. So both of these truly have pros and cons, and so I want to talk about both. I'm gonna start with the Glock 19X. I'm trying not to cheat. Iron sights. It's not my gun. The Glock 19X is a striker fire 9mm pistol, and all these pistols are clear, by the way. Standard capacity is 17 rounds and 19 round magazines with extended base plates, which makes this gun look sexy. I love the Glock. Even when we talk about the pros, the first pro is the aesthetic to me. The aesthetic of the different color browns, especially, I don't have the mag handy, but when the mag's hanging out, the 19 round extended base plate mag, this gun looks good. Comes with back straps to adjust your grip accordingly, especially for those of us who have big bare hands. The 19X is a solid running piece. Another one of the pros that I would say about the 19X is it's a Glock platform. Typically people have familiarity running with the Glock. It's got improvements over the standard Glock of its time, which is it's got the 3-dot sight system instead of the U-notch, which is awful. And I don't know anybody who likes the U-notch on a Glock. The 3-dot night system is nice. They glow. But that's the pros, man. The pros is it's a Glock. It's a Glock, that's a Glock, that's a Glock. And so people are gonna be familiar with the platform. It's got a size 19 slide with a 17 grip, which means you get a longer grip handle, more capacity, but it's only got the reciprocating mass of a 19 slide, which is a kind of nice setup. It makes recoil management doable. That's probably about all the pros that I got for the 19X. Let's talk about some cons. Some of the cons of the 19X is, until recently, these were not optics ready. They just came out with a 19X MOS this year at SHOT Show. If you ask me, too little, too late. The world is going to super small micro guns. Nobody wants a 19 MOS at this point. Even this one had to be milled. This was not my 19X. This came into my FFL as a trade-in. Not having a gun come optics ready is just beyond bananas to me. No excuse for it. Another one of the cons is this little lanyard loop. Not a fan. And this lip in the front. Because of that lip, let me see if I can find a mag. So, this is a Gen 5 mag. We know that because it has an orange follower. Because of that lip, that mag cannot seat fully into this magazine. So you have to use Gen 4 and older Like if you got a Glock 17 or Glock 45, it's got to be the Gen 4 mags. Gen 5 mags will not fit because of that lip. That's trash. The one thing I do love about my Glocks, my 19 and my 45, is that in my 19, I can run 17 round mags or 15 round mags, and it's not an issue no matter what generation. But this little lip here stops that from being the case for the 19X. I forgot to mention that this gun does have an ambidextrous slide, lock, slide, release, whatever you choose to refer to it as. But in my personal opinion, they should have had that anyway. That shouldn't be something I'm excited about for a gun in 2024. That should have been established in 2006. Like, that just makes sense. All in all, this is a great gun. The Sig M17 has now entered the chat. What I love about the Sig M17 is a few things, right? The pros is gonna be first modularity. It originally came with this frame, and I was able to swap and put the Wilson Combat frame, which has better texture, better grip angle. Like, this Wilson Combat frame is just all in all a better frame. Another reason I love the M17 is the serialized part is actually the fire control unit, which means just the trigger group is considered the firearm. The slide, the grip is all unserialized, which means you could swap this out and build any gun you needed for that day. For example, when my M18 slide gets here, I'll be able to take this slide off, put the M18 slide on, and then have a compact carry gun. And then when I want to go back to a full-size gun, I simply just swap the slides. Or if I wanted to try an Icarus Precision grip, I could just swap the grip out. This gun is extremely modular. You can set it up however you need to. One of the other things that I really love about the M17 is it came optics ready. The Glock 19X, I really wish came optics ready from the time Glock released it, because that would have made things great. Instead, we had to do a bunch of aftermarket stuff, which, don't get me wrong, stimulates the gun economy. But for those people who can't afford to do what they want to do, as far as adding optic cuts and so on, it makes it easier when it comes that way, fresh out of the box. Now, if we're gonna talk about pros, we gotta talk about cons. One of the biggest cons to the M17 is the stigma that comes around P320s, which is that they go off when you drop it. Now, I've dropped this on the range several times, never had an issue, but I know earlier P320s have, but it only takes one time to crumble a reputation. And so there always will be a stigma around the M17 or any P320 platform that it may go off if you drop it. Another con is the thumb safety. I've done it training and dry firing. People that have shot at the range with me have done it in dry fire, which is that, or in live fire rather, excuse me, which is that they went to draw the gun, present to the target, pulled the trigger, and nothing happened because they forgot to let down that thumb safety. Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
That's safety.
That's safety, yeah. That is, oof. You really got to train yourself to drop that safety every time you draw that firearm. And it could take some getting used to and building that muscle memory, especially if you're used to a platform like Glock. To be fair and address the M17 and how it comes, as you can see, I got goon tape wrapped on here because the texture that comes on the P320 M17 is just not aggressive enough. I don't know how anybody was holding on to this joint, because I definitely had to swap the grip module out because it just didn't do it for me. So which is better? If I had to compare the M17 to the Glock 19X, which is better? Well, let's talk about a few categories. And at the end, I guess I'll let you decide. The first category I want to talk about is reliability. And if we're going to be honest, we got to give it to the Glock. Glock does not have the reputation that this has for the drop safety issues. Now, a reliability depends heavily on the user. However, let's just be honest. If I had to pick between a gun, even if it's not this exact model, a gun or even a gun company that has a stigma around going off on their own or when they're not supposed to, versus something that the industry leaders are saying is reliable, may not be the most aesthetically pleasing, but it is reliable. I'm going with reliability every time. I'm going with Glock. Let me know reliability. Who are you picking? I'm going with Glock. Modularity, meaning how can I customize this gun to my exact liking? I'm going with the Sig. Don't get me wrong, the Glock does include back straps, but this gun originally released and not being optics ready was crazy to me. Even this frame having some more Picatinny slots, which opens it up for more lights and things like that. Modularity, you can turn this gun into pretty much anything you need it to be. You can use various grip modules, various slides. I'm going with the Sig for modularity. The same vein as modularity, aftermarket support. Aftermarket support, gotta go with the Glock. This utilizes a Glock 19 slide. The Glock 19 is like the most sold handgun ever in history. You gotta, there's nowhere you can go. I could throw a rock at any gun store and I'm sure I can find Glock 19 parts. P320 parts, maybe every other gun store, but any place you go, I'm gonna be able to find holsters, I'm gonna be able to find magazines, be able to probably find triggers, anything I want to customize this gun, I'm gonna be able to find. The only reason I would give this the modularity win is because I can swap key components, grip and slide, without having to worry about serial numbers and things like that. But as far as who makes the most aftermarket stuff and quality aftermarket stuff, gotta go with the Glock every single time. Shootability. Shootability is a personal preference thing, but what I mean is what's the most comfortable to shoot. And I actually have to give it to Glock. I know people are gonna complain about the Glock grip angle, and I love the Wilson Combat grip angle. I love that this trigger is flat and doesn't have a safety blade. I like those things, but I had to upgrade to make those things happen. If I had to compare this grip module to this, I'm picking the Glock frame all day. The texture is there, the Glock angle may be weird to some, but I shoot Glocks better. And just being honest, y'all be tripping on a Glock grip angle. It's really not that bad. I know some people prefer more of a 1911 style grip angle, which again, the Wilson Combat grip does that for you. It's just not standard, and therefore I had to dump more money into this to make it what I feel like this kind of comes standard in the realm of shootability. Cost, Glock. All right, even though they're not that far apart in cost, just being honest, this is a little bit cheaper, and I feel like this is a better value for your money because of the aftermarket support. Like, granted, this is coming optics ready. I don't know, now I'm saying it out loud, it's kind of a toss-up. As far as cost and value, which do you guys think is the biggest value? Again, it's hard for me to compare this because I upgraded the frame. So thinking about how it comes, I'm still leaning towards Glock. And overall cool factor, when it comes to the cool factor, I gotta go M17. The reason I gotta go M17 is with all the grip modules Sig offers, the slide options, I just think that's cool, man. Being able to turn this gun into whatever you need it to be that day. It is the official sidearm of the U.S. Army. Something about winning that military contract is, it gives it a cool factor, right? And I know my boy, who is a 19X fanatic, is gonna say Glock actually won the trial, but there was tax breaks and things like that on why Sig won. And I don't care about none of that. This is what the military carries. That gives it the cool factor. So go on with this. So all in all, which one would I pick if I had to pick between the two? If I'm honest, 1,000% honest, I gotta go 19X. And it's truly because the determining factor is it is what I shoot the best. And I believe every shooter, any person with a firearm, should carry the firearm they shoot the best. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty impressive with this. All right, I've taken this out easily to 50, 60 yards, no problem. My groupings with this are solid. This feels better in my hand. It's better to hold on to. And if I'm comparing this to the original way the M17 comes, this is a better handgun than this, right? Not by much, but it is better. So let me know what y'all think. You going Glock 19X or Sig M17? That's it. That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss when I drop videos. And catch y'all on the next one. Peace.